What's going on, everybody? This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing, and today in this video we're going to look at some really important levels here on the S&P 500. We're going to take a look at today's price action. We got into some long trades this morning on the live stream, and look at we might be looking to take some profit. We're going to see after some nice moves today on the Nasdaq whether or not it's enough to reclaim the technical damage done, and also on the Dow. We're going to take a look at all of that and more in this video. Now you can see the S&P is closing up about a percentage point today, coming off of the lows, the low of this trend line over here, which it pierced overnight during the overnight session. Let's go ahead and look at this on a smaller time frame where you could see over here. Let me come up to the 2-hour time frame for you. And you could see the overnight we hit into this horizontal support coming in at 29.47, and that also came in this sloping trend line, the one that we're looking at as a big level to know who's in control, the bulls or the bears. That came in also around the 29.45 level. That's been the low so far. In New York, we came into this resistance here, and then we're trading slightly down, as during the live stream we went ahead and looked at taking a buy entry. Still holding that. We're going to look at this video at what levels we might be looking to take profit. But first I want to show you what we were looking at this morning and how I got into that trade. I'm getting ready to position long myself, maybe, Ahmed. We're going to take a look at that right now in just one moment. We're looking here at the S&P 500. Here's where we're going to start today. We're going to start here, obviously, with price alone. We could see that one thing happened overnight is that we came into our trend line over here. We peaked at the trend line and at the horizontal support over at 29.47. You can see that price so far has stabilized over there. We're now at the lower range over here. The sentiment has turned extraordinarily bearish. Everybody is bearish. Obviously this is reflective of probably most specifically the battle with COVID. That's okay. Over here, I'm actually looking now to begin position myself long. I'm looking to see if I can position myself long. How will I do that? Well, I'm coming down over here to the 1-hour time frame and push this over. The first signal that I'm going to get to start building a long position, and my stop is going to be below over here. I'm not sure yet if it's going to be somewhere around 29.39 or a little bit lower at 29.33. But in that area, I'm looking to build a position in. I'm looking as price makes higher highs on the 1 hour to begin scaling myself into a position. We're going to see where it goes now. Now, if we do close below this trend line over here, right, that puts us in a pretty, precarious situation, right? We could see some further pressure down into this area of support. We got some big support over here between the area of 28.58 and 28.73. If we lose that area, that's when I will become pretty darn bearish. I'm not going to become bearish that's not true. I'm not going to become an uber bear, let's call it, until we break this area of support between 28.58 and 28.73. If we do, then I think 26.30 is in the cards. It's entirely possible, right? Right now, I think everyone, markets tend to overreact to the upside. They tend to overreact to the downside. I kind of like to live in between. Let's see what happens from here. In this area, if we break this trend line, if we take out the overnight sessions lows. Oh, by the way, so what did we see overnight? After we pointed out that the overnight sessions tend to drift upwards, we've seen, obviously, last night, the reverse happened. I did point it out. Normally, by the time people pick up on something, it's done. You're not going to find it anymore. Between these two areas over here, I am definitely, the bears have control, but with a neutral bias for myself, right? This will be an accumulation area for me also. I will take the stop over here first, and then I'll look to see if I can position myself in lower off towards the support. So that's my plan going into this week right now here on the S&P. I'm not looking at it as intraday. I'm looking at this as swing perspective personally. If you're looking at this intraday, let's see what's going on. You could see, I mean, you hit our trend line support and horizontal support over here. That's where the market put in the low. It found some buyers. It bounced up to the first area. Let me zoom in. It bounced up to the first area of resistance and now is trying to see if it could hold this support and come off. So all this is a buy area for me. Let's see what New York does with it. It's going to be an exciting session. US S&P opening up over here. Here's where I'm taking my first buy entry. Filled over here. I'm not saying for anyone to piggyback me. I'm just laying out what my plan was going into the session. All right, fast forward the rest of the session and looks like the trade is up about 90 points, almost 100 points since entry. Nice looking trade, and you could see why we entered it. We're going to take a look at right now how I'm looking at managing that trade, where I might possibly be looking to take profit and or take some profit off the table. Right now, I'm kind of holding nicely. And I also want to look at some interesting things that I saw. This is a look. Second, let's look at a higher time frame over here. Everyone was wondering, how is it possible that retail traders, that Robinhood traders were able to go ahead and drive the market up? Interesting report. Now, Robinhood had to disclose in its SEC Rule 606 report disclosure. It reported some information that was kind of interesting. That 65% of its orders are routed through Citadel Securities. Basically, now Robinhood has actually been fined in the past, and a fine of almost next to nothing for the way that it routes customer orders. Now, remember, when something is free, you're actually the service, right? So Robinhood is actually, the way they make their money is not through processing fees when people go ahead and make trades on their platform, but rather selling that data out to these big firms over here. So now what happens is when Citadel, for example, sees that Robinhood investors are going ahead and they're placing orders for a specific security, are they front running those orders? Are they piggyback offing them? What's exactly happening there? That's unclear, but what is clear, it's not actually the Robinhood investors going ahead and pushing up these stocks. There are funds that have access on the back end to that data. Whoever holds the data has the inside look in order to run the kingdom, that's for sure. Looking over here, it's really interesting to see that a lot of people who are making between $35,000 and $75,000, that their stimulus checks, their stimulus and unemployment claims actually went towards security trades. All that money has been funneled into Robinhood. Everyone has been riding this wave up, and then all of a sudden, last week, things started getting a little shaky with that risk off coming into the market. But the move to the upside was a little far overdone, and the move to the downside was also a little far overdone. That brings us right to where we are right now, is more or less where we should be. I'm a little bit more comfortable trading where we are today than we were last week and then starting off this week overnight. But you could see that we are back in this range. This range is where I'm focusing on right now, and we are coming close to the top end of that range. I want to show you where I might be looking to take some profit on this trade right now. I want to look over here. I'm going to look again on the 2-hour time frame right now. And I want you to notice this horizontal resistance I have over here at 31.26. And again, I also have some big horizontal resistance at 31.47. I'm interested on those two levels, and I'm interested at this sloping trend line over here, which you could see had been resistance. After it broke, that became support, and it did burst through pretty easily on the way down. That level on the upside is coming in right now, somewhere also around 31.26. So we have horizontal resistance at 31.26, and also the resistance of the trend line also at 31.26. That's an area I'm interested in seeing how price reacts and possibly taking profit on a retest into that area. Now, I don't know that that is going to happen. I don't know that price is going to continue to rise or that it'll stop here. I'm not looking for a hard exit over here. I'm more interested in how price reacts. I would like to see, obviously, I would like to see this momentum continue. There's a good chance it continues into tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning on the calendar, we are looking at seeing retail sales out of the U.S. before Fed Chairman testifies. Now, if we get some really solid retail numbers out of the US, there's no reason that this current momentum can't continue and pushing. And then I might wait, actually, and I'll walk everyone through this tomorrow during the live stream. I might actually wait until Powell begins testifying and watch the price action around that time, looking for an exit. Or if the retail numbers came in pretty bad, that might be a trigger to look for an exit. But right now, I'm not looking for an exit. I'm holding on to a good trade, and I'm looking for it to continue to push. It had every reason to bounce off of this support down over here. It looks good now. I'm not looking to exit a good trade. I'm looking to give that trade some room before I look for an exit. Now, overnight, yesterday excluded, overnight, generally for the entire month of May, we did see that overnight during the Asian and London sessions, the equity markets have been bid. Hopefully that continues going into tomorrow's retail sales number. That would be nice. It's nice being able to manage a trade from a position of strength. Now, I don't know whether or not that's going to happen, but I don't see any reason yet to get out of this trade. I'm continuing to push it, continuing to manage it. I'm going to see where it takes us. Let's fall back 1 second. Let's look at the 8-hour time frame. Let's just give ourselves a little bit of deeper perspective. You could see that why we're above this trend line over here, everything continues to remain pretty bullish here in the markets. I'm going to pull up the true trend. I want you to see that we are now crossing back now to an upward trend on the true trend. I wouldn't read too much into it right now. I'm more focused on the trend lines and horizontal support and resistance lines I have in over here. However, if I don't take profit, I might look at the true trend as a way to go ahead and add to a position. If the entry CCI pulls back as it comes back forward, I might go ahead and add to this position. Right now, I'm not looking to do that. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with it just yet. I want you to focus in over here really quick on the Nasdaq, which had a really nice day up, a total of 1.5%. And you could see that it is coming into an area, right? An area of small resistance. Let me zoom in for over here. Let me draw out my little trend line over here, just so I have a tool here. And I want you to see where we came back into over here, right there, where that held the support. Fast forward that over here. This is an area that it needs to reclaim, right? If it claims this area over here, which is coming in around 98.06, and by reclaim it, I mean trade above it, then it has the opportunity of perhaps continuing a momentum and then maybe even getting up towards somewhere around the 10,000 area once again. Amazing, right? It took a trade war. It took tensions between the US and China. It took a full-blown pandemic and riots across the US in order to get the Nasdaq up to 10,000, but it did it. Is it going to go ahead and retest that area? Does it have the possibility of going ahead and making new highs? All of that, I don't know. Still, technically, to me, this looks kind of in jeopardy of breaking down, right? If you look at the Dow Jones, I want you to see that also. You could see that we're coming into an area right now of resistance. So it's got much more technical damage to repair before you could really get comfortable, right? Before you get comfortable, we still have a lot of damage to repair from the sell-off last week. Now, same thing happening on the S&P 500, right? We've bounced off of some nice trend line support over here, some horizontal support coming in at 29.47. And we took a little bit of a nice bounce today. That doesn't mean that all of a sudden you could see traders getting very whiplashed, right? We're going to new all-time highs. We're going to test the March lows. But really the market is full of price discovery right now, trying to figure out a range, trying to figure out what's next. We might even consolidate. We might enter a period of consolidation right now. I'm really not interested in getting that far ahead. What I'm interested in doing is looking at the market from our swing traders perspective, looking anywhere from a day to 5 days out and seeing what's going on. Definitely happy to have gotten and picked a good entry this morning and looking to see where that leads, overnight and tomorrow morning. That's how we're going to take it. We're going to take it slow. The S&P still has a lot of repair to do before this starts looking better. Right now, instinctively, instinctively what I'm looking to do is find a level that I could lean into and sell, but I'm going to be watching price for that. I'm not looking to do that, obviously, anytime overnight and maybe only take profits tomorrow. We'll see. I'll see you all tomorrow morning. We go live 30 minutes before the U.S. equity markets open at 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern time. I'll see you all then. Have a great day, everyone.